I don't know if you can see me. I'm working in my shop. My good friend Gary Giberson, Mayor of Puerto Republic, very well-known carver, has taken on a project to help the event called Lines in the Pines take place up at Batstow, I believe in March. And he has decided to do 160 shorebird flatties, what we call them. Basically, they start out looking like this, they're very thin, and when they're done, they look something similar to these. These were just some prototypes that I made up for His Honor the Mayor, and I have offered my assistance in making these up. I'm simply doing the thing. They're going to look about like this, and I'm just going to show you how I go through my series of paint work to bring this up to this. So it's going to take a while. There's going to be some editing involved, but hopefully you'll enjoy the process. So I'm going to start off. Mayor Gary, we already had these cut and shaped, and Mayor Gary put a coat of primer on them. And afterwards, we decided rather than have them just flat and square that we would round them over. So in doing that, we took off some of the primer. So at this point, I am going to start off by taking some white and going all over the areas that are lacking the primer. So very simply, I'm just going to go around the bird and spray some white and just repriming it so that when I put my color on it, it's more uniform, hopefully. So now you realize when the pioneers were doing market hunting and hunting shorebirds for the table or for their market, they didn't have airbrushes as they sat in their blinds or their sneak boxes. They did all this with very primitive colors and obviously with no airbrushes. Maybe not even brushes. They might have just used rags to put color on their work. So at this point, I've got a little bit of primer all around, and now I'm going to stop and clean out my gun and change my color. Okay, I'm back. The gun's cleaned out. I'm going to use a few drops of raw sienna. The medium that I'm using is actually water-based ink. I like it because it's nice and thin and it airbrushes very readily and very easy cleanup as well. And I can get it in just about every color of the rainbow. So our next step working on here, I want to leave a little bit of white belly, and I just want to put a hint of this raw sienna, a little bit yellowish, very light brownish yellow, and that is about all that I need of that. I'm going to bring it back to the tail a little bit, but the tail's going to get darkened. But okay, it's the second step after the white. So now it's time to clean the brush again and be back again shortly. Okay, the next color that's going to go on the bird is going to be a nutmeg brown, just slightly darker than the raw sienna that we just used. And you'll see as we put it on, it's going to start darkening the bird a little bit more, working from the bottom up. Get a little bit up on the head. And that's about all we have to do with that color. So once again, I'll wash the brush out and start with the next color. Okay. Welcome back. Next color is going to be a chestnut brown. We're going to work our way up a little higher with that. Work up and down that back a little bit. And also come up over top of the head. A little bit in the face here. And right down onto the breast area. That's it for chestnut brown. So, now you realize when I do this for 160 birds, I take one color and I go through all 160 before I switch colors and go to the next bird. So it expedites getting it done. So I'm going to clean the gun and change color. Alright, gun's cleaned out, and I got the next color, which is now a deep sable brown. And we're going to create the illusion of a wing. So we're going to just darken that area and just give the illusion that there's a wing in there. And follow that out a little. And I can actually put that out here and act as a little bit of a base coat for the real dark that's coming up. The same thing out here. I can put a little bit on this bill. The bill becomes a dark brown, and a little bit on top of the head. And that's about it for that. And then we'll be going to our last color from here. So clean out the gun and start over. Okay, our last color for this particular animal is going to be a deep brown, like an ebony. And we're going to darken up the tail feathers. Now when I'm all done with these, Mayor Gary is going to brush in the details to, these are just background colors, they're just base coats. And the detailing will be done by Mayor Gary with a brush. So, and you see here, all I'm doing is just shading in certain areas. And I'm going to give the illusion of a little eye channel here. And then I'm going to add some spots. And this is a more or less generic shorebird. It could be any of several sandpipers, a solitary sandpiper, spotted sandpiper. But it gives the illusion of a shorebird decoy. It didn't take much to get those birds to come into the blind or to the area where the hunters were hunting. And that's just about it. From that point, all we have to do is, after the mayor does his detailing, they'll be displayed on stands like that, and we'll be working on the stands. But that is actually bird number 160. So that ends my part of this. The mayor will take it from here.